Hi, my name's Peter. I'm a husband, a father, and a surveyor, and I'm here today to speak to you about the devastation that Lyme disease can cause in your life. Devastating events like Sue Beata killing herself because she couldn't take the pain associated with sound. Doctors refused to disconnect those parts of her brain. Her brother John wants you to hear her voice crying for relief. And Art, who lost his job, his house, and his wife, and his ability to do much of anything else. And Lori Rose, whose disease escaped the diagnosis of even some of the best specialists. And Tom, whose child is a fetus, got Lyme disease and died in early childhood. And a colleague's wife, who after 20 years of Lyme finds herself lost in the roads and has difficulty in a room full of people. My knowledge of Lyme comes about from my younger daughter having it twice. I myself being treated for it twice. Fellow employees having it, but mostly from my older daughter, who at the age of 15 developed a sore throat, and a year later was on the kitchen floor screaming in pain, and I'm trying to put a syringe of Demerol into her leg. Her disease caused her so much pain, and doctors and hospitals couldn't take it away, and she just wanted to be dead, to have the pain go away. And it was hard to disagree with her. Can you believe a father just said that? I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to give you medical advice. But what I want to do is share my experiences with you that hopefully can get you on a path to finding a proper diagnosis and a proper treatment for Lyme. I'm not here with you today because someone or group has paid me. For that matter, this is my gift to you. I just don't want to see anyone ever suffer needlessly like my daughter has. You know, when a child is severely ill for years, it can take its toll on their parents, on their relationship, and the relationships inside the family. Take the toll on the siblings. What do you say to the younger sister when the younger sister asks if her older sister is going to die? You know, that's why I'm here today to speak to you, because I don't want any of you to ever have that question come to you. I don't want you to have to experience the things that my wife and I and my children have had to experience. I'm here today to help you find relief before it gets that far. So I mentioned that my daughter became ill with a sore throat at the age of 15. It was actually the summer between her freshman and sophomore high school years. She was an A student, played volleyball, loved music, and was always on the move. And that sore throat developed into enlarged lymph nodes in the neck. And she was tested for Lyme by our family doctor, and tests were negative. She was referred to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and the ENT said she commonly saw these symptoms in adolescents who are self-motivated and burn the candle at both ends, as she said. My daughter developed a severe nonstop headache that she calls her monster. More tests for Lyme, neurologists, brain scans, more testing, and nothing. And we met a few doctors that said that they could relieve her pain. They knew how to do it. Drugs, diet, acupuncture, water therapy, intravenous hydrogen peroxide, vitamins, and on and on. But the monster continued to have its way. We saw specialists in infectious disease departments of hospitals, and they did more testing, and the diagnosis came back: chronic fatigue syndrome. By this time, my daughter couldn't have any noise around her. She could barely read. Her body sounded like a tin can with nuts and bolts when it was shaken. There was a time where we thought that she was having a heart attack, and we raced her to the hospital, and the doctors in the emergency room couldn't find anything wrong with her. Or the time where she suffered from so much anxiety and she couldn't sleep, and I had to hold on to her for days, and I couldn't let her go, and neither one of us sleeping. Her anxiety and mood swings became out of control. Psychiatrists were experimenting with all kinds of drugs, which just made things even worse. She was hospitalized for days on end with wires attached to her head until she couldn't take it anymore, and she ripped those wires out and left the hospital. She was hospitalized in the headache department of a major U.S. hospital numerous times. The doctors confided in me finally that they had never seen anything like this. She was an exception, and the monster continued to have its way. She missed a lot of school, and I took considerable leave from my job to drive her to doctors and hospitals. And the out-of-pocket expenses that we spent on doctors, hospitals, clinics, drugs, alternative medicine, testing, travel was just never truly accounted for, but I assure you the amount was enough to cripple many families. The insurance company was great, and we just have great insurance. They picked up a lot. They even assigned a case manager to my daughter. But the insurance company will never cover everything that you need. And my message to you is Don't rely on an insurance company. Don't wait for them, because you could be wasting critical time there that you need that diagnosis and that treatment. My family's probably no different than yours. We're attentive to each other's health issues, and we have some of the best doctors, and we live near some of the best hospitals in the world. So what went wrong? I've come to find out that people working in the medical profession are just some of the best and most caring and compassionate people in the world. But just like us, they don't know everything. They can only do so much. They're only human, like you and I.